Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, when they look back at this time in history and the history books study great moments born of great people, great movements born out of necessity, they'll look at Roaring Kitty in 2020. I don't know if you saw the movie recently. Single-handedly flipping Wall Street on its head. That's my chair. I'm not farting. Just a streamer in his basement who saw something, believed in it, went after it, and started a whole movement that made a lot of people money and brought down. Actually, if you saw the movie, I think it just brought down one company, and the rest of them, they just cheated. You look at Kid Rock, who took a machine gun to a case of Bud Light and sparked a nationwide movement that almost destroyed an iconic beer brand. And then you look at Shane Gillis, who drank 18 of those Bud Lights on a Joe Rogan podcast and single-handedly brought that brand back. And then, when the history books look at this time in history, they'll look at the Driver Ed channel and what we did yesterday, single-handedly, the bunch of us, all 1,500 people who saw my video about the absurdity that Wendy's was doing, copying Uber, and you, like me, vowed bye-bye Frosty and Fry, because we would not stand idly by and let the fast food world and the rest of the world to follow turn into the monster that Uber has created. What's up, guys? No, for real, though. To bring it all in, this is something that, as bad as, I don't want to say social media or just like, just the internet, how loud the internet can be, it is refreshing to see that something like yesterday could happen and a brand. It's actually, I was just reading this article, and that's why I wanted to pop on here. I wanted to share it. The way that this got out, I thought was really interesting, but it's very encouraging for me. It's a glimmer of hope in the insanity that we live in, that you can get something that just sounds so absurd, and then when there is pushback by the masses, they'll reel it back in and they'll realize, hey, maybe we were a little off. Granted, we've all seen how bad that can get when, as I was joking around, I mentioned Bud Light. Like, I know people that will still make fun of me when I order a Bud Light. So, there's definitely the whole ideological war that's going on, but in good faith, when there's a protest, when there's a boycott, capitalism responds, and that's always encouraging to see. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Fluffy Tofu, Yonda, Kitties, Albert, what is going on? So, in case you missed my video yesterday or you did not hear the news, I guess I should lead with that because that's bigger. If you did not hear the news, and I'm assuming you didn't see my video, Wendy's was planned on copying Uber and said they were going to roll out surge pricing into their menu, starting as early as next year. Well, there was a big uproar. It's not set in stone. It's not concrete, but I'm pretty sure it was a movement started by this channel very here. So congratulations. You can pat yourself on the back. You did this. You changed the world. And just honestly, wow, this came out yesterday. So I think the news broke yesterday morning. And then by yesterday afternoon, the CEO, Wendy's came out and said there'll be no price surges for burgers. The CEO actually was the one who made the comment. So I was reading this. I figure we'll just read this article, and appreciate you, Albert. And I thought it was pretty interesting. So Wendy's said on Wednesday, said that it had no plans to raise menu prices at times of peak demand after the burger chain was scorched on social media sites for comments its CEO made earlier this month, suggesting the chain may start testing dynamic pricing. For comments, so the comments say, and see, this is they flip it in there because that's how it goes. CEO Kirk Tanner told investors on a call this month that starting as early as 2025, Wendy's would begin testing features including dynamic pricing and day part offerings. And when I read this, I thought the real hero in this story is whoever was on that call. You know, in my mind, if I'm putting it in a movie script, it's an investor who just sees that this is not right and wants to leak it. In reality, you know, it's probably word of mouth, you know, trickles out. What's the saying? If the only way 3 people can keep a secret is if 2 of them are dead. So in reality, it was probably just word of mouth and someone caught wind of it. But anyway, it is kind of crazy to think, like, it is movie-esque to think, like, hey, you got this CEO of a major company on a call with investors, so very, very rich people, sitting in their boardrooms on their Zooms talking about how they're going to squeeze every last penny out of people who visit fast food restaurants. Like, come on, man. Like, that is literally like Ned Flanders. Like, how can we get more? Or it's not Ned Flanders. What's his guy? George Burns. Sorry. So anyway, dynamic pricing refers to surge pricing based on demand, especially during peak hours of the day. Many people associate it with shifting airline ticket prices or how ride-hailing service adjusts fares at busy times. I mentioned this in my video. This is saying it's, compared to the airline ticket price in the article I read yesterday. It compared it to like Ticketmaster. So, you know, if you're going to see a soccer game over there in GB, you know, the prices could fluctuate. And I think that's a very inaccurate comparison because, what you're paying for with an airline ticket. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, airline's different because, you know, I've heard so many stories of how airlines can't make certain flights because they're just losing money because of the gas and, you know, the timing of it and all that kind of stuff. So that's tough. But, you know, when I was thinking about the ticket prices for like a stadium, that doesn't make sense because it's a single time and everything has a different demand. You know, if you're trying to apply that to Wendy's or any service where you're buying a good, like what you're buying at Wendy's is not an experience. What you're buying at Wendy's doesn't matter. Like the burger they're offering isn't different at 11 in the morning and it's not different at 6 at night. It's the same burger. Whereas if you're going to see a comedy show, it's going to be a different experience if you're seeing it at 11 in the morning or 6 at night. It's going to be a different experience if it's in an arena or if it's in a large venue. And there's only a limited number of seats in that arena. Same with an airplane. The difference with and same with Uber, you know, there's only a limited amount of cars, right? The difference with Wendy's is theoretically, you know, technically they could run out of stuff, but like that's part of the thing with these chains, with most restaurants, you know, like you go to these convenient places because you know what you're going to get and they're not supposed to run out. At least their business model isn't based on that, at least is what I'm saying. Tanner's comments sparked an online backlash this week, with some vowing to stack their freezer with the company's signature frosty milkshakes to hoard it for the summer month. U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, in a post on the social media platform X on Wednesday, called it price gouging, plain and simple. Yeah, 100%. Which made me think of that. I was reading a little bit about price gouging laws, which I didn't even know existed, to be honest, but it goes into the... it's the idea where it's like, if it's going to rain tomorrow, you can't jack up the prices of umbrellas 100x just because people are going to need it. And I didn't know that was a law. I think that's good, but it makes me wonder, like, why can Uber get away with that? Because and I'm sure part of that has to do with like a reasonable increase, but like, how can Uber? I mean, I've given rides where it's like $80 for like, I'm kind of estimating here, but it's like $80 for like a, I don't know, 10-minute ride. It's like a mile, like that's cruel and unusual payment right there. Wendy's backtracked, saying in a statement to Reuters on Wednesday that it would not raise prices when our customers are visiting us most. Its initiative to add digital menu boards to certain stores would allow Wendy's to offer discounts to customers more easily, particularly in the slower times of day. That, my friends, is what you call PR bullshit, plain and simple. That is just like, that's just pure garbage. So, how do we do this? Where are we at here? Let's bust out the dictionary here. All right. Surge. A surge is a sudden, strong swelling, like a tsunami wave that engulfs the land. Wow, that's actually a beautiful definition. Although a surge offers a fluid image, anything can experience a sudden surge, including emotions, political support, angry mob, and apparently Wendy's burgers. What a crock of garbage to backtrack and say, oh, it was a matter of trying to offer discounts. Like, that is just, comments were miscomputed. Wendy's also claimed the menu boards will provide more flexibility to change the display of featured items, saying the comments were misconstrued and media reports to raise prices during periods of high demands. We have no plans to do that. There's no way to like skirt around this. If you wanted to give a discount to things, like, you don't need people will never push back against cheaper prices. So like, if a certain time's slower during the day, why don't you just offer that discount during the day? You don't need AI to say like, oh, it's slow during 2:00, so we're going to make it cheaper now. And why would any corporation ever do that? Like, if the store's slow at 2:00 and AI figured out we can offer burgers cheaper, but the person's already in the door, like they're already going to Wendy's not knowing what the price is, why would you offer them a cheaper rate? Because you knew they were going to pay for it more anyway. And I guess, I'm thinking about it out loud right now, if you can't tell. Maybe it's like, all right, they're already in the door, it's slow, so instead of they're paying for a burger, and the data shows that everyone who pays for a burger will be more likely to purchase a fry if the fry is only $1 more instead of $2 more. And then maybe that's, I mean, I don't believe them for 1 second, but maybe that's how AI can be used in dynamic pricing, where it's not like, totally insane. But one, I think there's a slippery slope. And two, it goes back to like, you're doing it to make more money, obviously. Like, everything a business does is to make more money. And I'm not sitting here complaining. Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. I'm not saying it's bad. But when they make more money, is that going to be reflected in the pay of the workers that are, if they end up making more money during this hour, will the workers working make more money as well? And it's like, if you can do dynamic pricing with that, could you do dynamic pay? Like, what if you pay workers less when it's not as busy? You know what I mean? Or what about the worker? What if a worker turned around and said, you know what? I make $10 an hour, but that first hour of work is just always the hardest. You're just getting started. You're tired. You haven't had your coffee yet. So I know I make $10 an hour, but from 9 to 10, I'm going to want $15 an hour because that's the hardest. And if you don't want me in there, that's fine. I won't come in until 10. But it's insane, you know? Honestly, I want to design. That's an AI I want to design. You know, that would catch on. I don't think it would catch on with any businesses, so no one would buy it. But start a revolution, baby. Tanner's comment was a hot topic at a restaurant conference in the Dallas area on Wednesday, with several executives responding warily to the idea that customers, already skittish after recent price increases, would welcome fluctuation in prices. I don't see it taking off anytime soon, a senior analysis said at a restaurant analytics firm, Black Box Intelligence. Man, stuff like that, like, I'm always fascinated. I've run into a lot of my Uber. Like, you know, you meet people with these jobs I would never imagine. And, like, it sounds like Black Box Intelligence is not, I mean, analytics is everywhere, but it's like specifically restaurant analytics. Like, that's just so interesting. Michael Lukianioff, CEO of Signal Flare, who has consulted with restaurants about pricing for years, said dynamic pricing is a great success in other industries such as airlines, but would not work in restaurants. Thank you, Michael. Michael for the win. Customers will shop elsewhere. Warren's post on X, previously Twitter, said Wendy's. When are we going to stop doing that? Every time I see X, it says previously Twitter. We get it. Just call it Twitter if you're going to do that. Said Wendy's plan means you could pay more for your lunch even if the cost to Wendy's stays exactly the same. It's price gouging, plain and simple, and American families have had enough. One of the few times I agree with Elizabeth Warren. It's always hard for me to take anyone who's worth that much money and claims to be for the people serious. Wendy's sales have slowed. Placer AI data, I never heard of that, shows visits to Wendy's outlets declined in all 3 months of the fourth quarter of 2023. Wendy's shares, which dropped about 14% in 2023, were up 2% on Wednesday. The company recently issued a profit forecast for this year below Wall Street's estimates, hurt by higher commodity labor costs. So, couple things from my comments in my video yesterday. One, what did this say? It made me think, already skittish after recent price increases. I saw a couple comments that I could not agree on more. Some people saying, you know, they go to McDonald's, it's like $20 and this, that, and the other. Man, I went to Chipotle for the first time a couple weeks ago. I had a gift card. So I'm like, all right, try this out. I got two burritos, 2 drinks, didn't even get a side. It was, I think, $34 or $38, one or the other. I think it was 34. But either way, like, didn't even get a side. Oh, and you know what? Come to think of it, I didn't even get a drink. I got a water. I just did a water cup. And it's like, that's just it. You know what it was, though? I got queso. If you put queso on the burger, you know, I looked at the receipt after. I guess that's an extra $3 per burrito. Like, that's insane. So $6 in a little ladle, 2 ladles. So $6 total and 2 ladles of queso. It was really good, don't get me wrong. And it was big enough that I could have finished it, but because it was so expensive, I was like, damn it, I'm getting 2 meals out of this. And it's everywhere, man. Like, food is absolutely insane now. There's this pizza place I go to every Friday. Used to get cheese fries, nice little appetizer. Then I get, you know, pizza to go with it. Cheese fries were $12. Last time I was there, it was $12. I'm never eating cheese fries there again, ever. I just can't. That's insane. In my mind, that's what a pizza should cost. I do still live in the 90s, but there are places that have, I mean, there's a place, I haven't been there in a minute, but every Monday they have a special. It used to be $6.99. I think it's $7.99 now, but still, I get a large pizza for $8, and you're going to charge me a large fry. It's like a cereal bowl worth of fries for $12. It's insanity. And then the other thing I thought of that I saw in the comments a few times were kind of all 3 months. What was it? Pay more, price gouging. I don't see it taking off anytime soon. I forget the other thing. I saw a bunch of comments. Oh, you know what I thought of talking about shares dropping? I saw a lot of comments bashing Wendy, saying it's not good. And that, my friends, is where I have to disagree. The Wendy's Frosty and Fry, it's like the best combo treat you can imagine. And it used to be great. I mean, I haven't been there in a while, and I'm still boycotting. Just the fact that they'd even think about it, I'm sending a message. Uh, but man, you get like $1.39 for fry and $1 frosty. That's $2.39 of greatness right there. But yeah, that's all I got. Wanted to pop on here and say that we did it. We single-handedly started this revolution. They heard us and they said, "Wow, driver Ed and his subscribers are not messing around. We can't let hashtag bye bye Frosty and Fry catch on. We better apologize." That's all I got. How's everyone doing today? I was thinking about doing the I was thinking about doing it's funny you say that, Blue. Man, we're on the same wavelength here. I was just saying, I was like, maybe I should do the Mario Kart today, but I'm not gonna be here long. I'm about to shake and bake soon. Um, but I was like, yeah, maybe I should bust out Mario Kart again. I think I might just do the gaming here if I do it. I'm kind of I don't know if you've picked up on it, but I'm like really trying to put not pedal to the metal, but I'm like back in this YouTube grind, and part of that between me and you, I'm going to talk about this in a video either today or tomorrow. Um, I just the whole YouTube game is just like exhausting. There's shorts, and then there's the thumbnails. I hate thumbnails. The game, all this kind of stuff, and it's just like I like creating, and I like writing. It's my favorite aspect of it. I said it a million times, and I like creating. I like making videos. I was with my dad, Austin. Chill. um, but what's up, Ricardo? Um, and like just the whole thing of like playing this YouTube game of like, it's just exhausting. And I know trust me, I watched all the videos. I find it very interesting, and it's something that I like helping other people's out. I like helping other people out with it, and it's almost like I know the answer, so to speak. But that's part of my problem with it. YouTube, and I bet you would feel similar as a viewer. YouTube has become so formulaic. It's like, not that it's getting stale, but it's just getting like predictable, I guess. And as a creator, as somebody who likes making things and likes trying new things and exploring, like, it's the worst thing in the world. Like, it's just not fun. And I told myself, I'm like, look, let's put this pedal to the metal with YouTube, but like, don't worry about that. And it's like, I know, like, going live is not a strong suit of mine. But I'm like, hey, you got to learn sometimes, so I might as well do it. And I know when I do that, it's going to hurt my channel overall for the short term, but I don't care because it's a cool way to connect with you guys. I can, kind of share where my mind's at. I can talk about what we did together single-handedly, stopping Wendy's from becoming Uber. And, things like shorts. Like, there's so much content out there about how shorts can kill your channel. And when I post a short, I know it's going to take away from long form. And then, I got a lot of fun experiences, I should say, that I like in my Uber that I remember that I think are fun, but they don't have a good thumbnail to go with it. But I'm like, all right, I'm not going to not make this just because it doesn't have a thumbnail. It's a video that I like, and sure, maybe it's not going to do super well, but 10 years from now, I'm not going to look back and be like, oh, wow, that video was awesome. It got X amount of views. I'm going to look back and be like, holy smokes, that was a really funny Uber ride. I remember that kid, like, I don't know. It's, so that's kind of like my approach right now. And, yeah, I don't know. So, tune into the channel. I'm trying to post a lot more. But again, I'm not playing by the YouTube rules. So, all that's to say, me, I like to ramble. On a related note, and I don't even think it's rambling. Like in my ADD mind, they're all connected. Like all these tangents there. I don't know if anyone else thinks like this, but it's just. And I only had 2 cups of coffee today. During Lent, I gave up. I gave up more than 2 cups. I didn't give up coffee, but I'm putting a max on my coffee intake to 2 cups a day. As you can see, I got my Wawa here, so that's the limit. In the past, I've crushed like I've crushed. I don't even want to say how many. I don't think I've ever drinking 3 of these in one day, but maybe 2.5. Anyway, all that's to say is I thought about putting the Mario Kart on, and I was like, it's not a gaming channel. I'm not going to be able to stay. I got to bounce soon, but in the future, I'm like, yeah, I like doing that. I think you guys like watching it. I think it's, a lot more fun to watch than just me talking, but yeah, so anyway, that's kind of where my head's at now. So the next time you see me on the next time you see me on Mario Kart, be like, oh yeah, Ed went on a 3-minute rant on his thought process of playing Mario Kart. No, so the price surging is not occurring. They pulled back their comments, at least as of now. They said they're not going to do it. You already know, mend the divide. Mend the divide. Oh, well, that's part of standing up for the average Joe. Exactly. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, guys. Just wanted to come on here and talk about that. I was so excited to see that again. I think with me, whenever you see these like movements, so to speak, or these boycotts or the cancel culture or stuff like that. I think the thing about cancel culture I don't like is like if you're canceling people based on their ideas, it's just kind of like, well, that's dangerous because then it's just the loudest people get their ideas heard, which I don't think is good, because there's a lot of people with really good ideas that aren't loud, and it's like a what's the word? It's like it's almost like a dictatorship. Like whoever has the power, whoever has the loudspeaker, whoever has the quote unquote microphone is going to be the one that makes the rules, But when you can have people probably it's weird. This Wendy's thing happened because of capitalism, because they want to squeeze as much money out of its customers as possible, but they pulled it back because of capitalism and people, saying like we're not going to shop there if you do it. So it's like that's the part of capitalism that I think can be good and can be not can be good, of course good. Can be what's the word? Like broadcasted by social media, can be utilized by social media, I'm always so like it's a constant back and forth. Like social media is the worst thing in the world and social media is the best thing in the world. And it's times like this where I'm like, hey, this is pretty sweet that we can, have our voices be heard collectively and, in a matter of hours. In a matter of hours, we went from some Wall Street villain, so to speak, this, CEO of Wendy's having a conference call with an investors that got leaked. And in a matter of hours, our voices can be heard. And it's like, yo, don't do that, you raging, greedy psychopath. And then the company comes out and is like, yeah, we can't do that. So I don't know. I think that's cool. That's a positive note to end on. Positive thoughts. Trying to be less cynical with every day of my life. It's hard. The world makes it hard, but the other alternative kind of sucks. So that's all I got. Good seeing you guys. And just stay tuned to the channel. I'm trying to pump out as much as I can. So catch you on the flippity flip.